I wanted to be a radio operator on airplanes. I'd been interested in them in radios, and my uncles had served in the Air Force during World War II. And so I enlisted for that purpose, but the Berlin Airlift was going on, and so we got sent to Germany instead of radio operator school. Planes were going over, there was a radio beacon at Darmstadt, and a plane would go over it every 2 minutes. There'd be another airplane. And the sky was full of airplanes, and part of the mission was to control them so that when they reached Berlin to land at Tempelhof or another airport, they were in sequence rather than colliding with each other. It was control of all the air traffic in and out of Berlin. It was thinking of the contrast between our aircraft flying over there in 1943, 44, and 45 dropping bombs, and here in 1948 and 1949 they were flying milk, bread, coffee, meat, medical supplies, everything else into the same place. And it was good to see the reaction of the German people, not only in Berlin, which I didn't get to, but in Darmstadt, where the German people there were cooperating with us and were positive. I was glad to have been part of it, even though it was personnel NCO, not flying an airplane or not being a radio operator, but being a simple part of it was wonderful to realize. I re-enlisted and requested the 82nd Airborne Division and got sent over there in August 1954. I wanted to be around airplanes again, and that was the best place for it. And we'd learned about the 82nd in World War I and World War II, and because I re-enlisted, then they assigned me there. The company I was assigned to had non-commissioned officers and officers who'd been in World War II and in Korea, and they were examples for us. And they really encouraged us to learn how to jump so we could jump with them. And they motivated us. You had to adjust your mind. You had to realize that you were fighting day and night. There were hazards everywhere. Even you might go through a village and think, oh, just nice little village, but it could be dangerous for you. And you had to be alert all the time, and to make sure that everybody in your units were alert. It was Thanksgiving Day, and the day before, our commander had said, okay, tomorrow everybody gets a Thanksgiving dinner. But then we received intelligence during the night that the North Vietnamese had a fortified position not very far from where our battalions were. And one of our battalions went there under order and realized that this was a very fortified position and very strong. And so we had to commit other units, more units, into the battle. And the Army helicopters and the Air Force fighter planes really supported our troops on the ground, but they had to put up with much stronger resistance, more fire, gunfire from the enemy than we'd been having in the recent days. So we had all this going on, and I was in the command and control helicopter with our commander. We used it to pick up wounded and to bring in ammunition as well as coordinate the actions of the unit. That was what I was doing, was hopping out from time to time and helping wounded aboard or getting ammo out. And then we were flying along and received ground fire from another place, and so I was able to return the fire there and slow them down so we could continue our mission. What's going through my mind is how to get that wounded soldier on board so we can go back and take him to our local aid station. Concentration on that and not really thinking about incoming fire because the object was to get the wounded soldier on board. I didn't know about it because we had so many people who had done such wonderful things. And when I found out about it, I was just thankful that I had survived and had taken part in the action and been one of those who'd done what we were supposed to do. If we can remember our veterans, learn about them, I think it will help our society become more cohesive, more unified. An example is the American Battle Monuments Commission, with our military cemeteries overseas from World War I and World War II, learning about the life stories of those who are memorialized or interred there. They're not just white headstones. There's a life there, there's a person there. And our people should know about what our young men and women of the armed services have done, are doing now, and will do in the future. I think we need to do a better job of informing them and letting them know. One of the advantages of the draft, as I found serving in that period, was that you had people coming from all over the nation and then coming together, bonding together to do their missions. And that was a good thing. And you learned more about the rest of the country, and you met fine people of having been part of these actions, whether in peace or in combat, on behalf of our country, and serving with people who are doing the same thing.
Any that stick out to you?
Well, I think the first ones were in basic training, Air Force basic training, down at Lackland Air Force Base, learning from people from New York and Connecticut about pizzas. Coming out of Northern Illinois, I had no idea what pizza was.